The Vanishing Coin by Kate Egan, Chapter 2. The White Rabbit. When the bell rang, Mike left school alone. Usually he walked home with Charlie and Zach, but now they had soccer practice twice a week. It was strange to walk through their neighborhood by himself. He knew the people inside every house, but he was totally alone. Mike wondered what his friends were doing without him. Running loops around the field, dribbling the ball around orange cones. He wondered if Jackson's team was practicing too. Mike really didn't want to run into him right now. He just wanted this day to end. At Nora's back door, he took his shoes off, left them on the porch, and let himself in. Her family had a lot of rules. No shoes in the house, no snacks with artificial ingredients, no fun till homework was done. But today, Mrs. Finn, Nora's mom, was standing by the door with her car keys. "There's been a change in plans, Mike," she said. "I need to go to the dentist. And it turns out he can fit me in right now. You and Nora will come along too. Leave your backpack right here and get in the car, okay?" Mike shrugged. "Sounds good," he said. He was glad he wouldn't be stuck at Nora's. Nora walked into the kitchen holding her mom's phone. "We can play games while we're there," she told Mike. "My mom said it was okay." Usually video games weren't allowed, so Mike felt happy about it for a second. Then he saw the game Nora had chosen. Scrabble. Of course, he thought. Just like her, shooting games were against the rules, and those were the only kind he liked. The back seat of the van was quiet while Nora tried to make a word. Mike stared out the window as they passed the college where his parents worked. They were teaching right now. Had Miss Scott called them yet? He wondered. Mrs. Finn took a right turn away from downtown. She drove past the ice cream stand that had just closed and the waterfront restaurant that had been crowded only last month with tourists eating lobster. The cold season was beginning to set in. By November, people would be hibernating, only coming out to buy more groceries. Winter in Maine was dark and mysterious, Mike's favorite part of the year. Nora handed him the phone. She'd used all 7 of her letters to make the word erasers. 50 points for using them all up, she said. "Your turn." Mike's letters were all vowels. What words had only vowels? Maybe Nora knew, but he sure didn't. He was tired of looking stupid. He shifted restlessly in his seat. Mike's mind was so full of worries he couldn't find a comfortable thought. The principal, his parents, Jackson, Nora, Scrabble, each one made him squirm. When they arrived, there were a few other people in the dentist's waiting room, and the woman behind the desk had too much to do. "Yes, Mrs. Finn," she said. I know I said now, but there were 2 patients in line before you." Those patients glared at Mike as he drummed on the arm of his chair. Nora nudged him. "What about your word?" she asked. She sounded just like a teacher. "I'm skipping my turn," he said, handing her the phone. "Giving up all my letters and taking more." "You know you have to subtract points from your score," Nora asked. "I don't even have a score," snapped Mike. He turned away from her, toward a stack of magazines on the table beside him. Movies, fashion, sports, fishing. Mike flipped through the whole stack looking for something interesting. Even that was too loud, though. "Shh!" someone hissed. Mike slammed the magazine down hard. He was getting mad. You can see there's like some little puffs of smoke coming from his ears. Nora stood. "Can we take a walk?" she asked her mom. "Just around the corner." Before her mom could answer, Nora added, "We'll check in after 10 minutes. We won't talk to strangers. Please, we need to get out of here." Somehow she knew that Mike was about to explode. He felt better as soon as he took a deep breath of cool air outside. Sometimes all he needed was a change of scenery. He followed Nora down the quiet street. Not much was going on out here. The dry cleaner on the corner was closed for the day. There was only one customer in the hair salon. After a little while, Nora stopped in front of a weird shop that Mike had never seen before. The sign on the door looked like it had been there for 100 years. It said, "Welcome to the White Rabbit." Oh, it's cool. It's got like the little rabbit ears coming out of the letter A. It also has a bunch of different signs that I know are on cards. So there's like, there's the spades, there's the clubs, there's the diamonds, and then there's the heart. Those are all signs that you can find on playing cards. In handwritten letters. There was a brand new welcome mat out front. It said believe in bright red. Mike couldn't figure it out. "Believe what?" Nora said. That people ever go shopping in here? Mike smiled for the first time in hours. Let's check it out, he replied. A bell rang when they walked into the store, but nobody came out to greet them. Nora followed Mike into a room full of what his mom would have called antiques, but his dad would have called junk. There were old mirrors, dented trunks, lamps without shades. Mike wrote his name in the dust on a table. On a shelf near the back, there were a few cool things for sale. Whoopee cushions, disappearing ink, snakes in a can, jokes and tricks. Instantly, Mike was in a better mood. Who knew there was a joke shop in town? This gum says Zapped chewing gum. Want a piece of gum? He asked Nora, handing her a pack from the shelf. She reached for the stick that was poking out, and a hidden spring trapped her finger. Lots of girls would have screamed, but Nora cracked up. A gifted girl with a sense of humor? Mike had never met one of those before. Mike shoved his hands in his pockets. He felt something crinkle. A $5 bill. Look, he said to Nora, let's see what we can get. He totally owed her for getting him out of that waiting room. She picked up a set of plastic teeth with bright red lips. She wound them up and set them on the floor, where they hopped across the carpet, jaws moving up and down. Nora giggled. Looks like they're talking, she said, or chewing gum. Oh, I like the stars on here. This is cool. A man in a black shirt finally came to the counter. Can I help you? He asked. He had a gray beard and bushy hair sticking out like he had a shock. When he got closer, Mike could see tiny silver stars shining on his collar. Where's his collar? I guess, there's stars and moons. We didn't talk about the moons, though. Mike remembered his manners. We'll take the chattering teeth, please, he said, and he felt in his pocket for the $5 bill. Suddenly, there was another one. $10 altogether, more money than he'd had since his last birthday. Mike had no clue how $10 had appeared in his pocket, but he knew just what to do. Make that 2 sets, he said. The chattering teeth made the afternoon a little better. Mike and Nora raced their teeth on a windowsill while Mrs. Finn was in the dentist's chair. Mike still felt like a loser, but at least his teeth won first place. When they got home, his parents had a serious talk with him. They talked about setting limits. They talked about getting him a tutor. It wasn't as bad as he'd expected. At least it wasn't anything new. After dinner, Mike went outside to ride his bike in the driveway. Pretty soon, Jackson came around the corner on his bike, twice the size of Mike's, and painted with flames. He bragged about the drills he'd done at soccer practice. He was faster and stronger than everyone else, if you believed what he said. He'd scored 1,000 goals. He was ready for the Olympics. When he wasn't bullying, he was bragging. Mike could hardly wait for him to leave. After a while, he said, Hey, did you know there was a joke shop downtown? Look what I got. He took the chattering teeth out of his pocket. Somehow they'd turned things around for him today, but Mike should have known their power couldn't last forever. He wound them up and put them on top of the picnic table where Jackson could see them hop. That's when they split in two and collapsed.